Hey there everybody, Gideon's Tactical here, doing my third attempt at this particular mini Griptilian by Benchmade review. I just haven't been pleased with my other reviews that I've tried to post up, so this is the third time, hopefully, is the charm. This is an interesting EDC blade, high quality. Let's go ahead and jump right into some of our specs I got here for you today. A 2.9-inch blade, we got a closed length of 3.87. We got an overall length of 6.78 inches, blade thickness of 0.1. Steel is 154 cm, made in the USA, Rockwell hardness 58 to 61, axis lock, kind of a Zytel black handled material, and we have a weight of 2.56 ounces. So that is the mini Griptilian by Benchmade. Let's kind of jump on into it here. You got multiple different options with this particular model. This is the kind of reverse Tanto sheep's hoof design with a hollow grind, very sharp out of the box, razor sharp. That 154 cm is a great steel. It's definitely on the high end quality, which is nice. It's going to hold an edge for a very long time without dulling on you. When it comes time to resharpen it, it will take some time to resharpen. So just be prepared for that. This is not the easiest knife in the bunch to resharpen, but it is razor sharp out of the box and will hold that edge for a very long time. A hollow grind, I prefer full flat grind, but it's pretty high on the grind itself, so it is going to slice really, really well. This reverse Tanto design is nice. It's a very gradual reverse Tanto sheep's hoof design. Great piercing tip, you can see there. A little bit on the delicate end. I don't know how I feel about that. Possibly with some hard use that could chip, so just be a little wary of that with the reverse Tanto design. I believe that the normal drop point design is a little bit stronger. But very detailed. You're going to do your detailed work very easily, very well. You're going to be able to slice open boxes and prepare, possibly food and just other things like that very easily with this EDC blade. 2.9 inches, great for EDC use, and that's all. You're not going to use this in any sort of civilian, tactical, or just tactical use. It's purely an EDC blade. So that's the overall blade. The blade thickness is good and just drops down to that swedge, nice and thick, all the way down to that nice tip ending swedge. So that's the blade itself. Let's go on to deployment. This particular model has the thumb hole. You can get it with thumb studs. And I got to tell you, I prefer the thumb studs. This thumb hole is a lot smaller than, say, the Spyderco normal hole that you would see in most Spydercos. And you can definitely tell. It's just a little small. I mean, it deploys easily enough. I just prefer, if I'm going with a hole type of deployment, I prefer Spyderco because they're a lot bigger and you can get your thumbnail in there. I can't really get my thumbnail in there to give it much leverage. It's just uncomfortable and the hole's just a little too small. So my preference would be, if you're looking at a mini Griptilian, is go for the thumb stud version, not the hole version. But aside from that, whips out very quickly, very smooth, just as you would expect from other Benchmades or Spyderco. Definitely a very fast deployment. And putting it away as well with that axis lock, you don't even have to touch the blade and you can whip it back into place, which is really a nice little feature. You can just whip it and play with it all day long. So the deployment is awesome. You got bronze bushings in there, and it's just going to operate and function very well, last a very long time. With the deployment, the thumb studs would just be preferred, in my opinion. Spyderco does a much better hole deployment than this particular Benchmade. Let's go ahead and go on to Lockup. You got this axis lock design, which I really dig. You can see back here, you got this little pillar that moves out of the way, back and forth, and that is your locking mechanism. So when you flip it out, it locks into place, keeping the blade from collapsing on you. You don't have to worry about a liner lock possibly collapsing on you, or lock back design is just sometimes uncomfortable. Very strong, no blade play, left, right, up, down, no blade play at all, and I really like that feature. And then very simple to pull back and whip close. The only thing is, with this small handle, you do basically either, you can do it one-handed with just one thumb and then whip it closed, or you can do it both, but you gotta kind of jam it in the back of your palm right there and then whip it closed. So it's a little uncomfortable to close, in that it's just odd in your hand. just feels a little weird. You can do it without too much trouble, but it's just not ideal with this small a pocket knife. But the Lockup is fantastic in itself, and I really dig that Axis lock. Very cool. Definitely got a cool factor there with that Axis lock. Moving on to Ergonomics. This is, again, a small EDC blade, just under 3 inches, and you got awesome jimping all the way about halfway, a quarter of the way of the handle, and then all the way up the spine, and that's really good jimping. Feels great in your hand, isn't super aggressive where it's hurtful, but not too smooth where it's not doing anything for you, as well as jimping down here on this finger choil. So the Lockup itself is very good, very comfortable. You're going to be able to control this knife really well, and just feels really good, and there is no loss of traction on this particular knife in that sense. The problem is that the handle's so short, my pinky is wanting to kind of come off and just isn't very comfortable in my large, I wear large size gloves. My large size hand, it just doesn't feel ideal for me. It's a little thin, and with this finger choil, my finger does have to go all the way back here, so my pinky is wanting to kind of start to slide off in my large size hand. Some of you won't care because you're just carrying this as an EDC, but some of you will. I don't really prefer carrying this. There are other 3-inch pocket knives that feel better and more comfortable in my hand. It's just the size of the handle. The handle is nice, and got good texturing on the side, and the jimping and the finger choil, but the overall length is just a little short for me, and my pinky is just not comfortable when I'm using and wielding this particular blade. Let's go ahead and go on to the weight. You got machined out scales in there, and that 2.5 ounces basically is so lightweight. I love that feature about it. It's awesome, very lightweight, and you're not going to even feel it in your pocket. So that weight distribution is awesome. Going on to the pocket clip, very nice, strong pocket clip. It's going to ride well. It's not going to tear up your pocket, and which I really like. It's not going to trash your pocket like some other pocket clips that we've seen. Rides relatively deep. Let's see here if I can show you on a piece of paper. It's going to be riding about like that. So you're going to get about 3/4 of an inch sticking up. You do have a lanyard hole. It is rather oddly positioned. It's all the way back here below the pocket clip itself, so your lanyard is going to kind of be hanging off to the side, just FYI on that. And you can switch this left or right, so this is a totally ambidextrous blade, this particular mini Griptilian. So how do I feel about it? Great product in that it's quality and strong and all those things. It's just not really ideal size for me in my hand. This is a full-size Griptilian with thumb studs, and that operates much better and fits in my hand much better, but you can see the size difference. It is much larger than the mini Griptilian, this full-size Griptilian here. I love this full size, and I carry it with me almost every day. It's one of my go-to EDC, large EDC blades, wilderness blades for pocket knives, but the mini is just not quite there. I'm just not feeling it with the hole in particular, and then just how short the handle is in comparison. You can see there the full size is about probably close to 2 inches longer than the mini. So the full size is definitely recommended. For large size glove hands, I'm not really seeing it for the mini. On the other hand, this H&K, now discontinued Enigma, but they are still available, the design is taken directly from this model that you're seeing here. H&K is owned by Benchmade. It is made overseas out of Aussate steel, but they Rockwell hardness to almost the same. 58 to 60 is what this Aussate is Rockwell hardness to. Very similar locks, and this actually feels a lot better in my hand. The handle is just long enough to fit perfectly, and this I would take over a mini Griptilian by Benchmade, just because the handle is a little bit better designed. You got the thumb studs, and right now this is about $10 less than the mini Griptilian. And but I know as time goes on, because it is now discontinued, I know the prices will go up. But same features as the mini Griptilian, just a little bit longer handle and fits perfectly. And it's only 0.1 ounces more, I believe. So those, I hope, are some things that will help you out with this particular mini Griptilian. If you have medium or small size hands, or you just don't mind it and you're just looking for, you have maybe a full size and you're looking for the mini, sure, it's a great blade. It's just a little small in my opinion. So thanks for watching. Stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.